Girls, Quad City sports fans of all ages, Town Square Media is proud to present to you the best Quad City sports talk radio show in the world. With the face who runs the place, T-Roy, the OG on the marquee, Jaybird, and the cat who runs the chat with the stats, Statman Surge. We are Don't Hassle Us, We're Local. We're not a Quad City sports talk radio show. We're not the Quad City sports talk radio show. We are your Quad City sports talk radio show. Welcome to the conversation, Quad Cities. But first, the dawn.
Como esta, shitheads? That's right.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's awful loud, Bird. Anyway, we are here, and if you know that line from a movie, it's from Young Guns 2, and the reason I use it is Jaybird and I are coming out firing.
No, we're not.
All right, we're not.
No.
But, yeah, we are only live on Facebook today, so that's why I use the S word. I'm sorry for children listening. Please.
Yeah, the White Sox are on our ESPN 1170 AM feed, and that's fine. It's Patriots Day.
And I won't cuss anymore, I promise.
It's Patriots Day there in Boston, so they had first pitch a little bit after 10 o'clock today, so that'll be going on
Is it
most of the day.
the 5-year anniversary from the Boston bombings?
Sounds about right.
About right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
God, time
so,
flies.
man, did you ever watch that movie with my boy Marky Mark in it?
Speaking of Marky Mark, R.I.P. to his mom.
Oh, his mom passed?
Yeah, that's too bad.
Oh, that's terrible.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, that movie, though, about the, it's a movie about the bombing. I think it's called Patriots Day is the movie.
Yep.
Man, if you walk away from that one with a dry eye, you just got a stone cold dead heart. I don't know how you do. But very sad movie, the entire thing. Just, yeah, very good movie. So please watch it if you haven't. But anyway, yeah, hats off to Boston. And like their uniforms they wore yesterday in honor of the Boston Marathon. Very
the yellow and
very cool.
light blue. It's a good looking color. You like that? You like that mix?
Yeah, it's good. It's like kind of San Diego, or I'm sorry, Charger-esque.
Yeah, that's all right. You can do that.
Man.
I'm all for that.
You know what? If I ever become commissioner of all sports,
yeah,
the Chargers are going right back to San Diego, and we're building them a brand new stadium.
Right away, we're on Facebook Live. Eddie right away says in the Heritage Pub Facebook comment thread, yes, maybe we can get some attention on thread. I guess we can leave comments there.
No, Eddie, you're not getting any goddamn attention. You just suck it up, mister.
Yeah, we got stuff around the sports world to dissect. I think we can go probably about a good hour straight or whatever else talking about some things and maybe unpack a few other things. I don't know how much we want to get into some stuff, but you and I can have a general conversation with people on the.
Well, let's bring up the hot
Facebook.
topic.
What's the hot topic?
Your article that you wrote.
All right, if you want to come out firing with that, it's not.
We just want to address it real quick, Jay. I think we've decided that you're going to let the article stand where it is. You don't want to name any names still, and you just want to let that thing kind of marinate, right?
Yeah, I guess. Well, let's just be as transparent as we can to the listeners on Don't Hassle Us for Local, okay?
Okay.
And again, by no means am I going to say any names about anybody.
That your sources were 100% reliable.
Yeah. So the article is you guys can find it's on my own personal Foster J Facebook. It's posted there. You can also find it on our Don't Hassle Us for Local Facebook page.
Is it on ESPN.com anymore?
11:7. I don't think it's the highlighted one. There's usually like 3 or 4 up there at the top because there's other articles that go. That's not a thing. And I haven't put it.
So the best article that's ever been written
It's
not on the front page. I just want to cover that.
I don't know about it.
It's the best article that's ever been written in this building, and it's not on the front page.
I appreciate that. But the thing, I haven't
probably
even
something up there about baking cookies or something that's on the front page.
Yes, I haven't even put it on the. I haven't even put it on Twitter yet. To be honest with you, so I
just saying F word right now.
No, and then so I feel like I wanted to give it a day. Facebook is probably where I knew it would get the most traction, and it did. And I think it needs to be put on Twitter. The only thing I'm not doing is I'm not going to tag other sites, if you will, to be like
you're not out here to try to make yourself world famous off an article.
Yes, not at all. Not one bit.
Can I say something to the listeners?
Sure.
And I want everybody to know that Jay. Trying to find out the right word. You labored over the fact of even writing this.
Mm-hmm.
And you got a hold of 3 people that I know of that you really respect when it comes to journalism and journalistic integrity and what and how and what and everything.
I had 3 strong conversations about journalism, journalistic integrity, how to go about this, what do I know? What don't I know? What should I share? What shouldn't I share? And I reached out to probably even more. All right.
Right.
When it comes to this thing, doing the research of it, and
So it wasn't something that you just
No.
found out about, and you're
these
like,
are the small things that need to be addressed. Though,
but,
and
but
that's
what I'm
what
getting
talking
at is, it wasn't like you were being this little gossip girl. Oh my God, I just heard something, and you went and typed it out on Twitter.
No,
Or
so
what, you follow what I'm saying?
yeah, I'll give you the timeline. At some point on Friday, I'd heard about this rumbling about a news director and being let go of his job and for some inappropriate things. And it was like, okay, you shrug your shoulders, you move on with your day. Like, that sucks. None of my business. It's too bad.
One, you didn't really know any details at the time.
But it was like, well,
and you're not the kind of person that revels in the fact that someone lost their job.
No, not at all. And then they're like, well, if there's any details later, do you want to know about them? I said, sure, I want to know about them. So I found out some details, and I reach out to some other people, and I say, are you hearing any of this? And it's confirmed. Like, I am. Can I talk to you later about it? I said, at your convenience, whenever. I'm just here.
They said, can I talk to you later about it?
Yeah. Can I talk to you later about it? Yeah, sure.
So you're not even trying to push to write a story. You're just
So I'm like, cool.
People are just telling you things.
Yeah. So I'm like, cool. We'll talk later. And not that big of a deal. And then Saturday morning, I get a text from someone that says, "Do you have time?" A different person. Do you have time to talk later? It's not someone I get a text from every day.
Okay.
But I said, and I was off doing softball practice, so I didn't reply right away. I didn't even see it, and I'm like, "Yeah, can you give me a little bit?" And so like after the softball practice, like, "Can you give me a little bit? Let's talk." So I have a long conversation. I said, "Here's what I've heard. What can you tell me?" So I go through what I know. He says, she person says, pretty much, you're right. Here's what's extra. Okay, so now I've got this in my head. All right, so then I reach out to a couple other people. How do I go about this? Like, I don't want to write a piece that looks like I'm out there just to slam the guy, just to get to this person and expose him or do anything like that. Where am I at in this story? So it goes on to that I have a conversation. Then in the afternoon, I have another conversation, and we start breaking down everything and comparing stuff, right? So I'm like, this could be like a 6-part thing, but how far is this really going to go 6 parts? Like, when is it going to stop? Like, you're not doing a part 2. If I say, like, if I do a cliffhanger type of thing, you're not doing a part 2. Like, someone's going to say, you're not doing a part. Somebody's going to, period. I know how that's worked, right?
Yeah.
So.
No, you did it right.
I reach out. I talk to some other people. Hey, let's talk to me about ethics and journalism. Like, what can we do? So my whole thing the entire time when I have this in my head is, I'm not doing investigative journalism. I'm not here to expose anything. Although I'm frustrated at some things, I'm not here to expose. So I can do a few things. And my theme was always, why can't I just lead the horse to water? You know the saying, and I do as well. You can lead the horse to water, but you can't make him drink. So I can lead the horse to water, but I can't say everybody should be. This is. I wanted people to just go, make the deduction and go, it's this person, this happened, and is this true? And it's not just the reader. That's not it. It was more the media that should be. It should have been a big deal. Okay, so from there, the best advice I got was, why don't you reach out to someone that's in journalism, media, and see where they're at in the story, because they might be working on it, and they're dotting their I's, crossing their T's, dealing with the lawyers, making sure, getting sources checked, right? So I say, okay, I think that's sound advice. And the advice is also, do not be vague. Be very specific on what you have heard and who it's about and their position. So I was, and I reached out.
The only thing you didn't say was the name.
To this person, I did, and it was just a direct message.
Oh, okay.
I didn't say this is what I'm hearing. I just said, I've gotten multiple texts and phone calls about said person being released from a job. Is this something the media, your media outlet, is going to be looking into? So the advice that I got was, if they say we're working on it,
then you're off the hook.
Yeah, and you let it go and see what happens. If they say we've heard some things, is there anything you'd like to contribute or that you may know? And you can do whatever you feel like you want to do. And if they say nothing, you have your answer, that nothing's going to be said. There was nothing. So I let that sit for, I'd say 20 hours.
I have one question for you. For that, as reading the article, I had a question and as I read it, this is what I took. When it said that the person was removed from the building.
Yep.
Was that person removed by the police?
No.
Okay. Are any criminal charges filed that you know of?
No, because it's not like there's assault on the matter.
Okay.
So it could be civil, could be whatever else. I mean...
Okay. No, I'm just asking.
You
I
have
didn't
to,
know.
yeah.
It doesn't say in your article,
Yeah.
but I follow
So
up.
So I have to sit down and write it, and immediately you have to understand, people out there, that I anticipate the problem. Here's the two problems. One, I'm just a hack and I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm not a journalist. I'm not part of media. I'm just this guy who somehow fell into this show and knows how to do audio, video equipment, and can write a little bit. I knew that was going to happen. All right.
Overeducated AV guy.
Yeah, there you go. I'm a hack who just doesn't know what he's doing.
Backwards.
Yes, yeah. So I knew, and the other thing would be, the guy's just got an axe to grind.
Which you tried to address at the beginning.
That's why it's in there. Although the story is about one specific person, there's a twofold to it. One, that although I may not care for some of the direction of the news that he wanted it to be, I may not care for it. I wanted to say this is not easy for me to write. There are victims here that this needs to be addressed. This is not, and if it's not exposed, then who's going to? That's all. So it was nothing about me, and because then what that does is that leads one other person to go, well, he's only doing it because he doesn't like this person, and that's not the case. When I say twofold is, I wanted to show that this person can manipulate, he can manufacture a false story and then manipulate it to get it to expand it out to other media to perpetuate this misguided agenda of this person's, which in turn, in the situation that will be exposed soon, you can see how he manufactures certain things, or is trying to manufacture careers based on manipulating these young men. So it's showing that there's patterns there. That's all. Whatever the person wanted to do, they did it and got away with it, and no one questioned it. So that's where the beginning comes from. And then I get specific. Where am I going with this? Well, here's where it is. Why? What do we know? So then I give I'm trying to get through the who, what, why, and where. I'm trying to now regain my journalistic integrity, right? And where does it go from here? And as I'm writing it, I am getting more and more upset because I'm thinking of the multiple stories that I've shared with multiple people here that I'm reaching out. And this isn't in my conversation, this isn't a burn the media down type thing. Let's go back to when almost a year ago, when you have the Iowa media protects Kirk Ferentz. I wasn't doing that. Your media is protecting one person. I was just saying, guys, we can report on more things besides COVID masks every day or whatever else, or we can do some type of thing where there's so many times you look at things and it's almost like investigative journalism, but you also tell someone just had an idea of writing something and they just wanted to get it off their shoulders, and you're like, is it that important? But I see that there's a little bit of a story there. Well, this is a story, and it's going to be, but no one was going to say anything. And so
I'll just put it to you like this. If this story would have been, to be in the position this person was in would be someone high up at any other company.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's just say, what are some of the biggest companies here in the Quad Cities? Obviously, John Deere.
Yep.
Okay, but let's just do one a little bit smaller. So
I don't care. My friends with Mel Foster.
Okay, perfect.
Yep.
Yeah, and there's plenty of people that have very high positions at Mel Foster.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, if this was a situation where somebody from that company did something very similar to this,
mm-hmm.
do you think that would be reported in the media?
100%.
Okay, and that's what I agree with you.
100%. And the idea of that somebody they no longer they don't have to say why someone's let go, and then if the person continues in the field, well, that's a problem. We do have there's other problems that happen, and you have to answer
why. Therein
why.
lies the problem.
Someone needs to say
what
yeah.
you said.
Mm-hmm.
When you don't report it, and that person continues to work, let's say they leave Mount Foster, go to Rule and Rule,
mm-hmm.
or whatever, and they continue that behavior at the next place.
Mm-hmm.
That is exactly what.
So it's the same thing.
Why the story should be told.
Well, there's no criminal charge. Okay.
Okay,
well, there's a problem.
But there's still a victim.
There's
victims.
There's problems. So here's what we're doing here. Okay.
Right.
So now we have so we all know the story, and it's nobody here, and I'm not being vague in this situation. And I was vague I already said I was vague and specific for a certain reason. Lead the horse to water. But we've all read a story of a sort. Teacher has sexual relations with student. Someone finds out, administration lets him go, they're out of contract, whatever else. And it's just kind of, there's rumblings around the neighborhoods. How's that? We'll just say. And then teacher gets a job at a neighboring school district, and same thing happens. And then finally, someone in the media does their job and says, wait, this happened back here and no one said anything? You don't think they're not going to report, why didn't you say anything, former school district? And they're going to go, well, no charges were pressed. It doesn't make any difference to just be like, well, no.
It was still something that charges could have been. That's what I'm getting at.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this is something. That's why I asked you, were charges filed? Is there a thing? We don't know if that's coming.
Yep.
But it's something that charges could be filed.
Mm-hmm.
Correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's got to be some type of thing of extortion.
Or, yeah.
There's, so again, I haven't reached out to the authorities to be like, are you looking into charges? I haven't. Basically, if you want me to, then I'll do it. But why don't you do it, media, is what I'm saying. Like, it's there. The story's there. The story is there. I know for a fact it's there. And if you go, yeah, we need to look into it because we have lawyers. I get it. You do. I get it. Nobody wants to get in trouble for anything of it. And so, to me, it was just like, enough's enough. Because the thing, it wasn't just there. There's other stories out there that are just so mind-blowing. And they don't just happen here, but we live in where we live. I don't live in another state, in another city, and, well, it happened there. I live here, so I care about the stories that are here. Mm-hmm. And I know this thing happens everywhere else. We can't live like that. And right now, instead of, like I said, I knew I was going to be called a hack or whatever else, but we need to look at this and go, there are victims here. And I don't care if they're males. It's not right that we've sat there and said, oh, but if everyone agrees, there's not a single person, male, female, black, white, that has not looked at me and gone, no, not true. They all say the same thing, and I go, well, let's change it around. Let's say the news director was doing, like, not sexual assault, but having them parade around in bikinis. Would that be news?
You're saying to replace the victim
as female
with the
and every single
gender,
person goes, oh yeah, it'd be news. Like that. No one goes, oh no.
Well, it even goes to the point when you have a situation where, let's say, it's a female teacher hitting on a male student.
Yeah, and then never. Yeah.
That's always a big chuckle, ha ha ha, right? Mm-hmm. But when it's the opposite, which and it shouldn't be.
No,
it should be handled the same both ways, and not a ha ha chuckle.
Yeah. So it's. I can tell you this, and you go to my Facebook page. It's not a big deal. Did I ever come out and say it's my journalistic duty to do this? No. Did I ever say I have journalistic integrity by doing that? I'm gaining it? No. What I was just saying was, we got to open our eyes, and we have to see that sometimes we just have to say, well, why? Instead of just
you were giving a voice to the victim, Jay.
I was given a voice, and that's not my place to do it. I'm not. Listen, if it goes somewhere, it goes somewhere. If it doesn't and it comes back to me and I get in trouble legally somehow, then so be it. But the thing is, I did what I felt was the right thing. I may have not always done the best thing. Trust me, when I sit there and write glass houses or whatever else, I'm not saying I don't live in a glass house. All right? I'm not at all.
We all have windows.
Exactly. But so, I can employ you to go ahead and dig into stuff, and you can say, well, you did this or this and that. And I go, yes, you're right. I'm going to own up to all my mistakes, all my failures, all my misguided things that I've done, and I'll say you're absolutely right. So you can't. I don't really feel like those are things. But you put this out there. You know you're going to be called a hack by someone, and you know you're going to be called that it's you're only doing this to get back. You know that. But then you have to turn around and you go, well, what if this person wants to retaliate? What if this person digs in and you have to tell yourself, are you ready for that? And I said, I'm ready for it. I will say, own up to everything. Oh, I Googled this and said this. Yeah, I did. I have no problem. But so the thing is that I feel that when I get questioned of, and if it is true, then you'll basically be verified. Okay, well, it's true. then they go, but your sources need to come out. Nah. Listen, I can lay my head at night knowing that, like,
don't get me going on people in the quote unquote news media not coming out with the word anonymous source has been used quite a bit lately.
I know, but do you know what I'm saying? Like, it's the thing of like, well, if you had one,
if your source doesn't want to be revealed, you don't have to reveal your source.
No, I know, but it was like, it just so. In my own apology that I have talked to people about since posting it. My one apology is my vagueness. Although specific, I'll always say that my vagueness could have led certain people in this area as news directors of any media to get a phone call or text and say, "Is this about you?" And I apologize if they had to waste 30 seconds of time to be like, "Oh God, no, it wasn't me." Do you know what I'm saying? Like, my apologies if somebody had to wear that for a little bit on their conscience and be like, "What? Someone's writing this about me?" So that's my only apology for that. Other than that, guys, if years ago, if national media news is going to cover Matt Lauer, why is it because in our little Quad City area that it can't be talked about? And why does it have to be the victim has to come forward first and everything else? Or why is it that I have to have a direct quote? When I know. So, and by the way, and I know in my heart of hearts that this is true. So I don't care if someone say, they say, well, someone has to come forward. They don't. I know in my heart of hearts, and I hope you do too, as a reader and a listener of Don't Hassle the Local. The thing is, if you look at who shared it, my post, that's the other thing I have in my back pocket. These are people that are in media or people that know me, that knows I wouldn't just randomly write something. And they're respectable people that shared it or that like it because they know me better than that. So for anyone just to be like, you don't really have like a leg to stand on because you don't have your sources quoted. All right. Someone go do it by someone who's actually, that went to J school. That's employed to do this. Go do it, dig into it, say who wants to report about it? Who wants to be the whistleblower? Because that's not what I did this for. So I didn't do it to be the whistleblower of the thing. Now keep this in mind. If I say I know I'm gonna be called a hack, or I know I'm gonna be called that I have an axe to grind, or that maybe this wasn't the best journalism thing, we can't focus on that and not look at, for 1, 2, or 3 of those, 11 messages, comments. Thank you so much for doing this thing. And when I say 11, then add on 11 just random people for each one of those, so 33, and then add 5 for each one of them, so 15, I would say, in the local media saying, congratulations, you did what you should have done. I wish I would have done it too. Is there anything I can help you with? If you get any backlash, please let me know. So that makes me...
I would hang your hat on those and don't worry about the rest.
Exactly. But I think the one thing is like, if you don't understand my writing, you don't understand me, you read it for the first time and your first takeaway is, oh, so he brings up something and this person now did it, so he does have axe to grind. That's not the case. I'm showing that the actions mirror consistently manipulation, manufacturing false things, changing narratives to benefit your agenda. It's consistent. And these are all signs of something that a predator has done. I applaud these people who stood up in their company. They do not have to say a single word to back me ever if anything bad would happen to me. They did enough. Right. Enough right there to just say it. And anyone, for as much as we turn around and we throw the word reckless speculation out there and we laugh about it, we say, like, oh, we're just recklessly speculating, blah, blah, blah. Make no mistake about it, folks. I know for a fact that this is true. Don't care. I don't have to justify it. I don't have to name names. I don't have to quote anything. I don't have to show you a text. I don't owe you anything. What you owe is your conscience to be like, this was not right. and it was calculated, and it was done for a reason. And there are young men out there that are hardworking, just out of college, worried about their college loans, worried about living in a new area that they're not familiar with, worried about fitting in, worried if they're doing a good job, and they're being manipulated to do something that is not in their job description whatsoever. I hope that the company says, share your story. I hope the company says, do the right thing. It's not right. It's not fair that if the gender was opposite, we would all be with pitchforks and torches to light this person's career on fire.
You know, this is something that Terry Crews went through.
He did?
Yeah. I mean, he's a big dude. He played football.
Mm-hmm.
But he had situations like that. And then when he brought it up, you know, it was kind of the thing, what are you complaining about? You're a dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this isn't exactly how it was. Again, we were up until 11:51, folks. Not 11:51. I mean, up to today, going. White Sox are on ESPN 1170. What do you want to do? You want to do it? Save it for tomorrow? And he's like, sure. He's like, we'll talk about what's going on in sports. He's like, you want to share your story? I was like, it went from like no, to I was like, I don't want to name any names still. I still don't feel like it. And he's like, okay. And I go. He goes, well, let's just do a short show. And I didn't even expect it where you were going to jump out with that. I was going to let you run with it and kind of do the interview, which however you wanted this, not the interview, but let this story go to however you wanted to guide it.
I think it needed to be discussed.
And it's
plus it really was a slow kind of sports weekend. We're coming off the Masters hangover. I know Stuart Sink won the RBG Open. Is it the RBG?
I don't know.
I think that's again, Ruth Bader Ginsburg. That's all I'm thinking of. Maybe I'm saying it wrong. But I mean, baseball just kind of kicking, but there's nothing. We're still pre-draft. I think the biggest news right now in NFL is Alex Smith retired today.
Yeah, we'll talk about that too in a second.
So,
I guess finally
we'd come out firing with this.
Put a bow on it. It is what it is. You can say what you want about me or how it reads.
The seed's planted. We'll see how the tree grows.
Exactly. And I will. I reached out to someone else and it was almost. And I talked to two other people post the post, and they kind of had the same analogy of like, you built the house. You just didn't move anything in, but you want credit for building the house. And I was like, actually, I don't. If anything, if the seed's planted and it grows, I mean, no one ever says, man, that must have been one heck of a seed when you have a beautiful flower. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I don't care about that. I want this story to be where it is, and I want people to just question. I want somebody to just be like, yeah, we were never going to run that until that happened. We would have never talked about it unless that happened. And I don't want like a link to this, to what I post, and I don't want a link to me or me quoted. I just want them to think, why wouldn't we have done it?
Right.
Why wouldn't we have talked about it? You know, there's oddly enough, there's a link to some type of thing. This website, I have no idea. I've never heard of it before, but they picked it up.
What's it called again?
FTV Live.
FTB?
FTV Live.
FTV.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know much about it or anything like that. Someone shared it with me and said, like, hey, man, your story made it to that, which, all right. As far as I've been told,
you're a contender.
Mm-hmm. Okay. This FTV Live about us. Let's see. FTV Live is the TV news insider website that has been around since 2000. FTV Live spent over the first decade of its existence being a pay site. If you wanted to read the site, you had to be a member or a hacker to gain access. Now it's a must. Okay, FTV Live became a must read for anyone that works or wants to work in the TV news. We tell it to you straight with an edge, along with some humor. So FTV Live has become one of the most read and powerful websites that covers TV news. So, yeah, basically, I was told it's the site when it comes to like television scandals. Again, they don't want to come forward. They don't have to. They've done enough. Right. And if somebody says like you shouldn't do it or you did this, it's all it is. But I do again, like you said, focus on the positive, and there was positive, and there was tons. I felt really good yesterday. I had some lows yesterday. just because criticism and it came from close. And it could have been to me as like they could have been messy. But the thing about it is that's where it is as human beings and as citizens. I've talked to the person. I didn't do things over social media, or I had a phone conversation with somebody else who was like, that was close to the phone conversation. Someone was close to, like, we'll just say the building here. And I explained myself. They said, okay, I understand you. And same thing with face-to-face interactions. Here's what happened. You know, when you have the conversation and someone says, if it's to be true, and I can stare them in the eyes and go, oh, it's true. And they say, well, I believe you. You look like, and I don't care if you believe me. It is what it is. So, I hope that these young victims, they feel that they feel fine, even if they want to come out or they don't, as long as they know that they did their job blowing the whistle within the company. And I'm very proud of them, and they should be commended, not look like somebody is a victim because they no longer have a job in the Quad Cities as of right now. Who knows if someone will hire him somewhere else. But that's, instead of us looking at it like this guy's a victim because of false accusations, you can say it all you want. I'll be the one at the end of the bar telling you those accusations are not false. So that's just where I stand. All right. Over the weekend, yes, it was a kind of off weekend or whatever.
Who are our major league leaders, Jay, in the standings?
In the major league leaders in the standings. In the American League East, Boston Lee is the leaders in the division at 10-6. Tampa Bay Rays are 2 games back. They just swept the New York Yankees. Yankees are 5-10.
Oof.
Yep. In the Central, the Kansas City Royals lead it. The Twins have the COVID. So their games, Saturday game, Sunday game, Monday game was postponed a little bit. So the Royals lead that. The White Sox are 2 games back there. White Sox are currently playing right now on ESPN 1170 AM. You can listen to them. They're playing the Red Sox and the Patriots game. Seattle leads the West. The Angels are a half game back in the AL West. In the National League, New York Mets lead the East by 1 game over the Phillies. Cincinnati Reds are still going strong at 9-6. The Cubs are at 6-9, 3 games back. Yesterday, did you see any of that Sunday night baseball game? Man, it was a home run fest.
Who won?
Atlanta. And so it was the most home runs hit in an inning since like 2006.
For both teams, what was the final score?
The final score?
Yeah.
Right. 13-4, Atlanta Braves. Oh, wow. Yeah. And then also leading the West are the Dodgers at 13-3.
Oof.
Oh boy, they're 3.5 up.
How are my Padres?
Padres are 10-7, 3.5 back. But you asked about scores.
Yeah.
The White Sox played a doubleheader yesterday against the Red Sox. They won 3-2 and then 5-1. Both of those were 7 games. I mentioned the Braves over the Cubs. The Indians beat the Reds 6-3. Shane Bieber won that game, and now he's got 4 straight starts or something with 10 or more Ks. New York Mets beat the Rockies. Marcus Stroman is 3-0 on the year for them. The Royals beat the Blue Jays 2-0. Giants over the Marlins 1-0. Pirates go into extra innings at Milwaukee and win 6-5. Like I mentioned earlier, the Rays completed a sweep over the Yankees 4-2. Oakland Athletics 3-2 over the Detroit Tigers. Our friend of the show, Emily Van Buskirk, was at that game. Philadelphia Phillies shut out the St. Louis Cardinals. The Padres 5-2 over the Dodgers. Seattle Mariners 7-2 over the Astros, and the Rangers blanked the Orioles, winning 1-0. Oh, and then finally the Diamondbacks over the Nationals as well. Madison Bumgarner gets the win, his first win of the year. He's 1-2 on the season. So games going on today. Like I said, currently right now on ESPN 1170 AM, you can listen to the Chicago White Sox, Lucas Giolito. San Francisco Giants play tonight at Philly. St. Louis is on the road at Washington. Tampa Bay at Kansas City. Texas at the Angels, Milwaukee at San Diego. Dodgers and Seattle have a 9:10 first pitch tonight as well. Happy birthday to Joe Mauer, 38 years young today. Whew, that made me happy to read. Good old sideburns, 38 young. Love it. Yeah, so before the air, Alex Smith has announced his retirement from the NFL.
Good for him.
Mm-hmm.
You said right away he should be an OC.
It is an automatic hire as an OC.
Okay.
Or an assistant. Think how many offensive coordinators he's played under.
That's true.
I mean, he's got, you're taking,
right.
You can't have, how's this? There's not a lot of times where there's like an offensive coordinator and they have one stint and they're like, yeah, they're done. They were just terrible at it. So even if that's the case, maybe one out of the 7 or 8 he's had is bad. So he has 7 instances of professional offensive coordinators that he can pick and choose things that he's learned as it's happened and make his own type of coaching ideology. I think if that was him, but I also think I think he's going to be part of an staff or front office somewhere. I just really do. I mean, his resilience to keep coming back. He's got, obviously, he knows the game. He knows franchises well. Think about that. I mean, now if you talk about having relationships when you want to do trades and whatnot, and how you have a feel of how the front office works, he's got multiple stops in multiple places, and I don't think I've ever heard Alex Smith is not a very fun individual to be around. You know what I'm saying? He's got more of like, obviously he had a job for a long time and came back from injuries. So I think it's a smart move if they were to do that. So since I said it's a smart move, the Bears are probably running as far as they can away from Alex Smith. But that's just it. So, but yeah, that's what's going on. What else happened?
God, I don't know. That stupid fight.
Yeah, that Paul and what was it?
How did he beat this Askren?
Ben Askren?
I thought this Askren guy was tough.
Well, I thought so too.
Oh, this Askren guy too. For whatever reason, like
he didn't even
the trunks when he wore in, he looked like he was chubby. I know this guy isn't chubby. He's like in shape UFC dude.
Mm-hmm.
So I one punch and that was it.
Yeah. So if you're unfamiliar with this, Jake Paul
doesn't seem right to me.
is a YouTube star that has been making professional boxing victories a thing of his. On Saturday night, he made quick work of the former UFC fighter Ben Askren. He beat him via TKO just over 1 minute into their main clash from inside the Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta. He landed a brutal overhand right that sent Askren to the canvas. Despite beating the count, the ref deemed Askren unable to continue call out the fight at the 1:59 mark of round 1. Paul moves to 3-0 his professional career, and Askren although Askren is the first professional fighter he has beaten. One MMA writer from CBSSports.com, I believe, says Paul still needs to prove that he can compete against trained boxers, but has done everything that could reasonably be asked in his trio of circus fights to start his boxing career. So,
I don't know. I just find it hard to believe that dude got knocked out.
Just a week ago, he was at WrestleMania. He was on WrestleMania when he took a stunner. So, we did look at on Friday. We looked at the over-unders that came out for the win totals and everything. We did that just off the top of our head. There's a lot more to unmask that as well. You know what I'm saying? To figure out exactly like what is. But we mentioned that today is Patriots Day, and that is the day of the Boston Marathon. It's also the anniversary of the first ever Boston Marathon.
Oh, today is?
Yep.
Wow.
124 years ago today. So 1897. John McDermott won the inaugural Boston Marathon with a time of 2 hours, 55 minutes, and 10 seconds. And this was on Patriots Day, which just started 4 years earlier. So this is the 4th annual. The Boston Marathon is the world's oldest annual marathon. The only year they didn't have it was in 2020 because of COVID. And then, so after just 15 people ran the inaugural race, now it attracts over 30,000 participants each year. In 1894, Massachusetts made April 19th a public holiday commemorating the battles of Lexington and Concord and the Battle of Menotomy, which launched the American Revolution. In 1897, building off the success of the event the previous year at the first modern Olympics, the Boston Athletic Association hosted a marathon to celebrate the holiday. Since 1969, Patriots Day has been the third Monday in April and has become synonymous in Boston with 2 events, the marathon and the early Red Sox game. So as the holiday weekend comes to a close, fans can flock to Fenway for the 10 o'clock game, and then they can walk to Copley Square and catch the end of the marathon. So the marathon is postponed until October this year, but the Sox will take the field against the White Sox this morning wearing special edition uniforms honoring the marathon. So, all right. So, yeah, it's It is postponed to October, but usually they can do the marathon the other time. So that's just a little history of the Boston Marathon, if you will.
Sweet.
Never really thought about running a marathon in my life. Don't know if I'm going to, ever.
Ever?
Mm-mm.
I don't think I would ever.
Yeah, not a lot of. I mean, there's sports bucket lists of things to do, but that's definitely not one of them.
No.
No, not one bit. So, yeah, and then the big thing that's going on now is just going to be. I mean, we're going to skate along like everybody else for the next. What's it looking at 10 days now to the draft, right?
Yeah, unless there's something crazy that happens. I mean, there's really nothing going on. And then after that, we're just stuck in the middle of baseball season.
Yeah, we've got some high school sports things to highlight coming up soon. It is weird, and I did it again today. Like,
well, will Illinois have their state football championships? They won't play anything like that at all?
No, they just play their conference schedule that they could, and that's it. And it's weird because, I mean, I was reading the paper today, and it's like, oh, Rockridge wins the TRAC conference volleyball championship. And I'm like, this is still weird. And in football, like, Friday night, if you're in Illinois, you see Friday Night Lights. It's strange. It really is. And
well, at least the kid's got a chance to play. You know, that's kind of the thing. You really, yeah.
I guess so. Like, I mean, it's still a little
it
bit.
is. It just kind of was listening to. Oh, another thing too. Did you watch? You haven't watched any of the Falcon Winter Soldier, have you?
No.
Jay. I mean, the last episode comes out next Friday.
So,
and they left you on a cliffhanger this week. Oh my God!
All right.
I can't tell you anything about it because I don't want to ruin it. I don't know how many people out there have listened to it or watched it. I mean,
so you're saying this is worth a watch,
dude? It's definitely this is one of their best ever that they've done. This is great.
Okay. All right, I can get into it.
And there's some. It's just I'm digging it big time, big time.
Okay, I'll throw it on. I don't know how many episodes I'm behind, but I feel like
you're 5.
Yeah. So I've got some work to do then. All
You're
right.
only 5 hours behind, Jay. It's a quick catch up. Boom.
It's nothing.
Guy like you, sit back, feet up.
Have you watched any of the Mighty Ducks series?
No.
And there's a new basketball series with John Stamos on Disney Plus.
John Stamos.
Yeah, he's a coach of like a girls' basketball team or something. No. You would think
His
I would be
TV wife's in jail.
Yeah, she is.
I watched that thing, by the way. The whole documentary about that scandal.
Yeah, that was on Netflix, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it was Netflix.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, Varsity Blues or what? Because it was called Operation Varsity Blues, right? I believe that's it.
That was the name of the operation.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that's the name of the documentary.
And
I can't remember, but yeah.
It all just happened because someone blew the whistle because someone called a guidance counselor, and the guidance counselor, or they asked a coach about the lacrosse, and they were like,
all
what are
right,
you
so
talking
there's
about?
a guidance counselor at a high school, and that was the one for her husband. So his TV mom is married to Massimo.
Yeah.
So Massimo Close.
Yes, sure. Huge in the mid-'90s.
So the guidance counselor was like wondering off of what her grades were, how the hell she got into USC.
Okay.
I'm like, wait a minute. And then called and like, well, I'm curious, is like something, you know, and I don't know what it was. And they said, well, yeah, it's live. It's because of her sports. Because she claimed could have been
I think it was rowing or something.
Rowing or lacrosse, one of the two. And he's like, she doesn't play rowing or lacrosse. So then, so this dude basically, and they had him on, so they kind of do like they have Matthew Modine play the guy, and they have him just enact how you would film a documentary, you know, like if they had behind the scenes footage. So basically, they just had him giving all the stuff they had from, you know, like the recordings and things. So they hired actors and actresses to play the real people, and then all they did is have them act out the actual recordings of the phone conversations. So yeah, it was pretty interesting, you know, on how it was going on. You know, some of these people were like, "Well, are you sure? You know, this I can't get in trouble." And dude's like, "Oh man, yeah, I do it all the time." And then the one dude you kind of feel sorry for is the sailing coach for Stanford, because he kind of came in, and this dude was like, oh, I'm just going to donate some stuff to your program. And he's like, okay, and then when he was talking to like the athletic director, he's like, hey, this guy is, oh yeah, I know him, he's good. And so then when that guy is kind of like, once he's caught, the Matthew Modine guy, and I can't think of the dude's real name, once he's kind of like, he's caught, and now he's selling everybody out down the line. He's just like got this dude on the phone. He's like, well, you know how we did that? And the dude's just kind of like, I remember him talking to him, and he goes, I was busy getting to go somewhere. I was just kind of, yeah, whatever. Yeah, cool. That sounds great, Mm-hmm. So this guy loses his job and gets fired from Stanford and pleads guilty to it all. I think he had to do like 6 months in prison, something like that. But he goes, I really didn't do anything. And he really didn't.
Yeah.
Like, it was pretty terrible. But the guy that did like set all this up,
mm-hmm.
he's still free as of right now.
Yeah.
Now, eventually, who knows? But it's pretty nasty. But it just shows you how like these people that are
they're fluent, they have money,
they're very elite, and they just have this.
Someone comes in with this idea, and they get it to work, and they say, "Dude, give me this amount of money, and I'll get you into this school that you need to go to."
Like, I don't even. If my daughter doesn't want to go to school, okay. What do you want to do? You want to do this too? You got to do something.
Yeah.
But I'm like, at the same time, I'm not going to be like, well, if you don't get into Harvard, if you're not going to Stanford Law, my neighbors will think we're complete failures.
Yep.
How dare you?
Without doing all the work, you have to go. Yeah, you have to go. I know you didn't do the work, but
if
you
have
no background.
If you're not going to Scott Community College,
mm-hmm.
my neighbor's going to think that we're complete dummies over here.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't understand that whole mentality behind people like that. Like I don't drive a Jeep because, oh no, everybody must thinks I'm cool because I have a Jeep.
They do, though.
I love my Jeep. I just love my Jeep. I don't care. I love my car.
Let's be honest, though. They do.
But I buy it because I like it. I don't care. If you don't like it, I don't give a rat's ass what you think. It's just so weird.
Yeah, you got to keep up.
I see when you're like, but I see when you're a kid and they're like, they talk about peer pressure. I'm like, oh, Mom, I gotta have some Nikes, dude. Oh, those Nikes are too expensive. Here. You can have like tracks from Walmart. No, dude, I'm not wearing tracks. I get it when you're a kid, right? Because that's you're a kid. You're still learning, But when you grow up, like, man, the first thing when realization came to me what a car payment was and all that, I'm like, no, man, it sucks having a car payment. I'm gonna buy me a hoopty.
Yeah.
So I had a hoopty. I didn't have no car payment on. That was great when I had a hoopty. When I didn't have a car payment, it was happy times of my life.
Yeah.
All that extra cheddar cheese I could spend on beer. Things that make me happy.
Love the hoopty. So I can't. What am I trying to watch now? Netflix released some things. Obviously, you get into the Circle. The second season, it's crazy.
There's
I'm not gonna...
something on IMDb. It's a documentary about the death of Jordan's dad.
Oh, that'd be interesting.
I have IMDb on Prime, but I can't quite figure out. I couldn't quite find the show yet. So
I do need to ask people out there on the Harrington's Pub Facebook comment thread if anybody knows like a pretty good production person company. I think we need to put together my video resume for Big Brother, and we need to do it ASAP.
Yeah.
See if I can get on there and do that.
And if anybody out there knows, Deshaun Watson looking for a good masseuse.
yeah.
Oh, too soon?
Yeah, no.
Dude, he is FUCK'd.
You think so?
Yeah.
What happened now? Because they're listing their names?
It's just, this is just too, I mean, it's just too, you can't,
yeah.
I don't think he plays again.
Really?
I don't know. I mean, he's definitely suspended for a while, Jay. I mean, NFL cannot, this is, kind of going off what we just talked about.
Mm-hmm.
You can't ignore it. This is, this is your article.
Yeah.
This can't be ignored. The NFL can't just turn a blind eye to this.
Mm-hmm.
No effing way. This dude is.
Are you sure? Are you sure?
They will get more heat than anything. I mean, they have to. This is insane. So, from what I understand, he was flying some of these girls in from other places, contacting them like, "Hey, why don't you fly? I'll fly you in. I'll pay for you to come. I need you to do a masseuse thing."
Oh, it's terrible.
Yeah. Like, dude. You know, and the thing is, and you kind of think about it, it's like, dude, you didn't have to like solicit anybody to, like, if you're a single male athlete, and good looking kid he is,
yeah.
Why don't you just go out and flirt with girls the old-fashioned way?
Exactly.
Go to the club, be like, hey, what's up? Look up. Hi, how you doing? Buy you a drink? Yeah? No? All right, cool. I'll talk to us.
That's what I say.
I don't get it.
It doesn't make any sense. It just, but you can all, and you can.
I mean, I get it when you're ugly and old and fat like Harvey Weinstein, and you're trying to. Yeah, I don't get it. What I'm saying is, yeah, he's old, ugly, and fat, so he's trying to use his power to manipulate these young women he would never have a chance to get. Deshaun Watson's not that. You know?
Yeah.
He shouldn't have to.
No, he shouldn't.
He shouldn't have to be a predator.
I think the best advice that you're going to give to somebody, as far as relationships goes, is do the Trevor Bauer. Say we can spend time together. We can go out to dinner. We can we can Netflix and chill. But the moment you start pressuring me for a relationship, or if even I feel like I get feelings or whatever else, we're cutting it off. I'm a professional athlete. Here's my thing. And then once that person's in agreement with that relationship, you know what I'm saying? Then you're fine. But if the person's like, oh, wait, we need to define it. And he's like, we had this conversation. It's done. We're done. We're completely done.
He sounds like that guy from the movie Bridesmaids, the beginning, with Kristen Wiig.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, I'm just not. I got a lot of stuff going on with work.
Yeah.
And, oh yeah, no. And he's like, all right, God, I kind of want you to leave, but I don't know how to say it without sounding like a dick.
Yeah. But if you agreement with it, and I know it's not hard to keep up with that tacit agreement in a relationship or anything, but that would be my advice. Like, hey, you don't have to fly anybody in. You don't have to like use this rouge of being like, well, you knew what you were coming here for when you're a masseuse, or unless like there was an agreement ahead of time.
Coming to give you a massage, a-hole.
Yeah, not unless it had like, is there anything else going to happen?
Come here to see your dong.
Yeah, so
come on.
That would be my advice. It's just like, if you don't want that relationship, you don't want that type of thing, then you're at the forefront at the very beginning. You say, I am a professional athlete. My job comes first. I have to do this. We can hang out. We can go to Applebee's. We can Netflix and chill. We can do this.
Applebee's?
But, yeah, I don't know.
Applebee's?
It just seems to be like the fun one to say.
Feeling sad for your date life right now, buddy. Ladies, if you want to go to Applebee's, I know a guy that'll take you.
It's fun to say. I don't know why. I don't go to Applebee's.
Sure you don't.
It's just fun to say. I don't know.
They got the bowls are back, Jay. I saw the commercial. That's what it is, huh? You want to do the Applebee's bowls.
The 2 for $20, whatever else I dessert. Come on.
The bowls, they have the bowls back.
Yeah.
They're all the All-American bowls.
I think there's like Dollar Long Island sometimes. You got to look at the specials at that place. It's killing it. It's a neighborhood bar and grill. I'm not kidding.
Hey, what's up? You want to go to Applebee's? Red Lobster has ends of shrimp.
That's right, they do. I don't go to Applebee's. I'm just saying it's just fun to say. I haven't been there in a while. Now I feel like when we end the show, we should go to Applebee's or whatever.
I just ate lunch.
Did I ever tell you I was an Apple buddy? I worked there.
I know.
Yeah, I think you did mean to put the onions on my bourbon steak. No. Anyway, I don't know, but yeah, again, just you don't have to create this rouge of a massage thing, but if you, I don't know if being done, I can tell you this: you look at the other, you look at the other football league, and is it going to happen? And the XFL is not really one that wants to deal with too much of any type of like. They said when they first started that they didn't want anything to do with past history, but that's when it was owned by the WWE.
Yeah.
So now that's owned by Danny Garcia, who's The Rock's ex-wife. That might be a different thing, and that would be a changer for them if something like that. And they said, well, he'd have to take. He'd have to come out, probably say he's addicted to sex.
Oh, that's what
he took sensitivity, sexual sensitivity.
And he's going to be like, I was eating good in the neighborhood.
Stop it.
And I fudged up.
What can I say? Those two for $20 meals kill me. That chicken fajita roll up gets me going.
I'll tell you what.
I can't control myself.
You ever had their quesadilla burger?
No.
Dude.
It's just turned into an Applebee's.
Freaking good. I'm sorry. I know I shouldn't say it. It's good. I shouldn't say it. They're not a sponsor. They're not a sponsor.
Yeah.
It's not nearly as good as that food we were eeating from Front Street, though, on Friday.
Oh, that was great.
Jesus H. Christ on a popsicle stick. That thing was great.
Yeah, and I actually got to see Tim on Friday and thank him for having us there, and what a great job Darren's doing and Chris is doing. So, and that Monte Cristo, like I said, I'd never had it before. So, but I got
some of the Hefe to go on tap out at Oscar's.
Oh, okay.
So, and we still have Mahalo on tap at Pints, along with Cherry Bomb Blonde at both places.
Of course.
So, and I'm never sure what Bree's got going at Harrington's, but I know we got Cherry Bomb Blonde.
Yeah, I mean, this is just a weird Monday of like, is it going to snow later? Is it not? I don't know.
Is it supposed to snow like tomorrow or some crap?
Maybe overnight. Something like I heard.
Whatever. I'm over it. We are so much done with this, and and Bird, I know it's hard for people to understand this. And I didn't put it out there on social media.
Oh, that's right. I don't know how. Yeah.
I didn't put a picture of myself doing this, but I am now a professional doorknob licker.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, because I'm fully vaccinated.
Yeah, that's right.
So, yeah, it's good, huh? It's good to be out there. I thought about that today when I was walking in a place. There's a lady older than myself, I'd say probably at least 15 years older than me, walking into this place, and she wasn't wearing a mask. And I'm like, and then behind me was a lady much older than her. I would say probably by 10 years. She wasn't wearing her mask. Staff was all wearing their mask. And I had this mask thing on. But then I was like, I'm vaccinated. These two, the ones I'm protecting, they're not wearing the mask. They're vaccinated probably. Pulled it down. Screwed.
So that's the question.
I don't know. I'm just
Are
looking
we going to
around.
have to wear a V?
But the thing was, when I had it up and I was trying to talk to the girl, she couldn't hear what I was saying, so I had to pull it down anyway.
Yeah. I mean, are we going to have to wear, have a card? I'm
getting mine laminated and put on one of those lanyards so I can wear it on my neck.
Yeah, just put it on all the time?
Yeah.
You might as well just do it.
I'm gonna.
And then just be like, it's like
I'm gonna put it right in Neil Nichols' face.
When they would make fun of me about getting credentialed, and go to backstage Wayne's World,
yeah, that's what I was just gonna say. We can walk around.
That says the article today that half adult Americans have had at least one shot. Again, it'll be there. I mean, I think it's there to my. I can get it whenever I want now. It's open to adults, right?
Especially with your obesity problem.
Yeah, I know. But I don't really. I don't know. I guess we could. It's one of those conversations to have with multiple people, or even people in the Herring's Pub Facebook. I'm in no hurry to get it. The shot, and I can't tell you any reason why. I'm not an anti-vaxxer, and I'm not I'm not gonna, and I'm not.
I just kind of looked along it. The doctor said, "Yeah, you can get it," and I'm like, "Really? Okay, well, might as well. If it's available and I can get it, might as well do it."
And I'm not. Yeah. It's not like I'm not a sheep to do these things or whatever else. It's got no reason whatsoever other than, and maybe I just don't want to be
I'm still lying. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah,
I got a shot. I'm still lying. I'll bite you. Don't push your luck.
I appreciate everyone that tuned in today, and I appreciate everyone that shared or left comments in the article and that we did. And keep your eyes open and just keep talking to people and let's make these people let's make these young not young because they're not like young. I don't want to say that they're adults.
They're young adults. How about that?
Let's keep in mind that they are victims and that they should be applauded for coming forward first and foremost. Not we'll know more. We'll know more when it comes out later.
This touches onto a thing before we kind of close it up. But being the fact, we kind of talk about the fact of if the gender was changed, but I think for men, it's probably especially harder to come forward. Because you're going to have that faction that says, "Well, you're a dude. You should have been tougher than this," or you know what I mean? Because you're going to get that kind of that macho mentality where you shouldn't. You're a dude, man. You stand up for yourself, and that's not the case. Especially if you're in that situation where you're
most definitely,
you're young and don't understand what it's like to be in corporate America yet. I mean, it's just, and it's probably like, what's going on? You're like, okay, and all of a sudden you're like, yeah, that's so, no, yeah. Applaud them, and let's hope everything works out.
Tomorrow, we've got to update the mock draft, see where it is compared to what the boys, Kuiper and McShay are saying, or whoever we want to pull up, compared the two. I'll do my power rankings, and we've got that new segment, F That Guy. I love F That Guy segment.
We do?
Tomorrow, yeah.
How's that segment go?
I tried to explain it to you.
Okay.
All right, so let's just give it I'll give you this. No matter what, okay, there's a fan base.
Okay.
And the fan base has a rival team.
Okay.
Or just somebody that somewhere along the way had upset their road to the championship. And no matter what happens, you hate that player, that former player. And
you're a fan of that fan base, or you're...
No. Okay, I'll give an example. Although I'm not... Okay, I'm a Minnesota Twins fan, so there's other rivalries out there. But the Yankees always knock them out. Now, I know...
Okay.
I know Derek Jeter is a good guy.
Right.
Decent enough guy. All right, I know that.
But
I know
at the All-Star game, you said F that guy and you wouldn't stand up.
I know he deserves his year-long retirement, and I know he deserves the All-Star. But yes, someone says Derek Jeter is one of the 5 greatest people on the planet, and or baseball players or Yankees, whatever else, I'm still going to go, no, F that guy. I'm not moving. I'm not budging. So we're going to do it by fan bases. So like, who would be like, if you look at things and be like, and you might have to peek your history a little bit.
Okay.
Like if you're saying something like a team like I guess the Bears would probably be like, you're like, no, Brett Favre did some crazy things. He was good. And be like, no, F that guy. And I'm sure, or they might say the same thing about Aaron Rodgers or whatnot. So there's definitely different ones out there,
All right.
because the Chiefs fans are going to be a little different. So I just want to look at the fan bases, and I guess we'll do more like. Yeah, we can start with the NFL and we can look at the MLB, but I'm just interested at who would just look at it and be like, the fan base is like, no, we just hate him for no reason whatsoever. And I mean, Merrick talks about it too. He's like, I've spent my entire adult life like hating Tom Brady. So he's like, I'm just going to continue when it came down to Tampa Bay. He's like, I'm just used to just hating Tom Brady. So no matter what it is, like, isn't that great that he won? Isn't it great that he wanted, Super Bowl? And Merrick's like, no, F that guy. I don't care. So, but
I get it.
The only reason we weren't on ESPN 1170 today was because, the White Sox game going on for the Patriots. We'll be on all day tomorrow. From 12 to 2. And like I said, that's what we're going to break down power rankings. We'll see what other scores and sports stories we have to talk about. But appreciate everyone for tuning in. T-Roy, thanks for guiding my message, I guess, of what is on the post. You guys can go again. If you haven't seen it, you can go to Facebook, on my Facebook, or Don't Hassle Us for Locals Facebook. It's on there. And I don't apologize for what I wrote, and I don't apologize for why I wrote it or anything like that. And I just hope it moves some things in the right direction, and it gets the story out there that should be out there, and opens people's eyes that manipulation is there, and it also it trickled into that I can manipulate stories that we share amongst the Quad Cities sometimes, not all times. And I want you to know, if you read that article in between, when I say our media is hardworking, they're tremendous and they're very hardworking. And if I'm pointing out one thing, doesn't mean they're all flawed. There's 99% of them, and I could probably go higher to 99.9% of them are doing a great job at what they do. It's not fair to lump anybody into whatever else and something goes wrong. And it's the same thing as we talked to, is like, it wasn't fair when people were saying the Iowa media is protecting the Iowa football program. It's not true. So, and it's also, so you have to make your own.
There's probably people in the media here that didn't know yet.
No.
And that's fine, but there's people that
I guess the last thing I leave you with is, if you are in that media, and you're still watching the show now, but if you're in that media and you say, should we run with the story? Should we see if it's got legs? And someone above you says no. Maybe it's okay to question why no. Why no? Why not? Mm-hmm. And then find out. If it's like, legal reasons, like, well, keep running up the ladder till we can figure out we can find the way we can do it. So that's the way. That's what I encourage you to do. and we'll see where this goes from there. But for right now, we're putting this to bed, and we'll let it go because I don't want to perpetuate this story any longer. I would rather see where it goes from here based on the media in here in the Quad Cities. So if there's ever anything like this that should be the forefront, and again, I'm telling you, I'm not here to push rumors or your agenda, but if there's something out there, you can always reach out to me, direct message, and say, hey, look into this. I'll do my due diligence. I'm not just going to write something up and be like, I just heard this. But
Sarah said, Tommy missed study hall.
yeah. So, all right, we'll be back tomorrow. We went a little bit longer here on Facebook Live. We'll be back on ESPN 1170 AM, and we will be back on Facebook Live as well. Thanks everyone for tuning in. You have try to make this Monday a little bit better.
Yep. See you later, freaks.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Quad City sports fans of all ages, Town Square Media is proud to present to you the best Quad